Okay, super excited. Good morning, everybody. I guess it's not morning everywhere. It's noon for Dana. So, okay, and a lot of you East Coast. Dana, I know real quick, where do you have a local tonight?
No, I had a local last night, a local tomorrow, and then a local on Thursday.
So awesome. Where are you at tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Philly.
Oh, sweet. I did share your graphics that you posted on your page in our team page. I was like, hey, y'all, if you're in these areas, get there. So maybe you'll have some more thrivers show up. All right, let's go ahead. We do this every Tuesday. We've been using different hosts and different guests, and I'm super excited to kind of have some variety. Dana, what we do is we just have everybody kind of introduce themselves, like share with us like where you started your Thrive journey. What, like, were you super happy in your life and everything was awesome or what? And then just kind of, I'll ask questions from there.
Okay, yeah. So no, I was not super happy. I've been thriving now for 8 years. Before I started Thrive, I was a hairdresser, which Amber and I have in common. And I love that about us because I feel like that keeps us like so close, amongst other things. But I think a lot of people that have that hairdresser kind of mentality, we kind of have that, we wanted to be on our own schedule. Right. We loved having that like own schedule mindset. We wanted to kind of build our own thing. But at the same time, the busier that we were, the less time we were away from or the more time we were away from our kids. Because when you do hair, it's always during the busy times that you're like weekends, nights, right? Like those are the times that people are off. So it's the times that you're going to be with your kids. Right. So anyways, I was doing hair, but I had just moved to a town that was closer to my parents because my husband was overseas for a while. So I had to kind of rebuild my clientele. And so I was doing a lot of hair from my kitchen. And a lot of people I met were from Craigslist, I don't know if you guys have what they call like neighborhood, like those neighborhood pages. So I was meeting a lot of people off those neighborhood pages. And so I literally was having strangers in my house, and
wait, you had Craigslist people in your kitchen?
Yes. Yes.
Oh
and here's the craziest part. Like I remember one of those people actually became one of my first promoters, but yes, I met a lady off of Craigslist, and she came and did like, she got her hair done in my house. So yes, super, super dangerous. And I also had my 2 kids in my house at the same time. So not safe at all. But here I am totally just trying to make ends meet, because at the time we were living off government assistance. We were past due on all of the things, all of our bills. At the time, our house, you're recording this, so I'm going to try to stay as compliant as possible. Our house was $180,000. We could not spend $1 on any kind of upgrade, not anything. Like we had linoleum floors. It was $1,000 extra to paint the inside walls that were white, any color, right? And we could not do that. When we moved into that house, I was 8 months pregnant with Silas, my middle child, and I was painting the walls. So just to give you an idea of where our finances were. So when people tell you like they can't afford Thrive, like, hi, think of me. Because we literally did not have $1. So my husband was working a job that he hated. He was working at a car, like a automotive, I'm just going to say it. He worked at a Pep Boys. And he was like, he hates when I say it because he's like, just don't say the name. I'm like, oh, whatever. So he worked at Pep Boys, and he was like a service manager there, and absolutely hated it. Like absolutely freaking hated it. And I'll tell you that literally he would leave before the kids woke up, And then he would be home after the kids went to bed or right before they went to sleep. I mean, it was awful. So here I am, miserable, overweight, broke. And I'm watching my friend post this silly little sticker online. And so what do I do? What anybody does when they don't understand something, when they don't think they can afford something, and when they're miserable in their own life, they make fun of it. And that's exactly what I did. So I made fun of her, and I was like, and I actually went out of my way to like group our friends together. Like I didn't just make fun of it by myself. Like I went out of my way to group all of our friends together and make fun of it together with my friends. And I was like, oh my God, by the way, I have been forgiven. But I grouped together with my friends, and I was like, oh, that's so stupid. This still, what grown adult wears a sticker? That's so dumb. But here I am secretly jealous, right? I'm so upset that this person, is happy. I'm upset that this person is, living this amazing life and so excited, to wake up and, pursue her day. And here I am miserable, looking in the mirror, taking 3 steps backwards. And so I'm going, you know what? I'm going to ask her about it. And so I did. I asked her as I'm making fun of her. And she told me about what it was, and I still didn't think that I could afford it. I still was like, okay, thank you, but no, thank you. So I watched her for 5 months, guys, and I never commented on her stuff. I never reached out again. She continued to kind of reach out to me. She kind of was like, hey, have you kind of thought about it again? And I was like, yeah, but I've got some credit cards to pay. I've got this, I've got that, whatever. And, but I never really, I just kind of was like, no, thank you. Like, it's not the time. So as I'm doing hair in my kitchen, I finally got to the point where I was like, this is it, right? I went out to the mailbox. There was more bills we couldn't pay. There was more, it was just life had caught up to us. And it was just, that was the day. So I reached out to her and I said, okay, I'm doing it. I'm ordering it. But I ordered as a customer. I did not want to be a promoter. I did not want to be the person that everybody made fun of. I did not want to be the girl on Facebook that reached out annoyingly to all of her friends. Here I am 8 years later, but I did not want to be that person, right? I was like, no way, not me, not going to be that person. So, I ordered the product as a customer. I got the product and I took the product, and I was a day one thriver. I literally was like, holy crap, this stuff is amazing. I'm obsessed. Like, I love everything about this. And I could not shut up about it. I literally told every single person I knew. And so I had a few friends that really wanted it. They were like, okay, well, how do I order? So I told the girl that signed me up, and I said, hey, I have some people that want to order. How do I give them, like, how do they sign up? And she said, well, just, give them your link. And I said, well, I'm just a customer. I'm not a promoter. She said, right. But if you get 2 people, you can get your product for free. So immediately right there, I was like, well, that's freaking awesome, because I can't really afford it. So, like, if I can get this product for free, I immediately loved that, because I knew that no matter who wanted this product, whether they were broke, whether they had, like, they could still get it they could still get this product, whether they had the money or not. And so I really loved that about this company immediately. She's like, but if you have more than 2 people, you might want to promote it because you'll get paid. So I thought to myself, I can't afford to promote it though, because I know that there's like website fees and there's all kinds of stuff. And she said, well, no, it's free. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so I thought I was going to trick her. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, joke's on Lavelle, because I don't have any money anyways. Like my account is overdrafted anyways. So like, go ahead, like try to pull that money out. Like joke's on Lavelle. Right. And so I think at that point I was just like, you know what? So I pressed the promoter button, and back then there was no like, are you sure? It was just like, welcome, you're a promoter. And so I was like, oh crap, like I'm a promoter. And so she had told me about the VIP bonuses. And for the first time, I got really excited. Like I thought, wow, there's these bonuses that I can hit. Like that's fun. I'll try, you know. But it was the first time in a very long time that I had goals that were for me, right? It wasn't for my kids. It wasn't for, you know, my husband. It wasn't for the family. It was like a goal that I was able to run for. And I was excited that, you know, this was money that I could earn for our family. And I also felt like, wow, this is exciting. I can do it literally sitting here. Like, that's fun. Like I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. I can literally sit here and do it. And so I ran like my hair was on freaking fire. I did not shut up. I literally wrote every single person. I did not have this crazy long script, guys. Honestly, you're going to be like, wow, you're the person that people make fun of. All I said was, you should thrive with me. And you're like, okay, people make memes about you. Right. I'm aware. Like I know that I am who they talk about, but I will tell you, it worked. It worked. It worked for me. People would say like, oh, well, what is thrive? Right. And I would just respond with, I don't know, but I love it. And it's freaking amazing. Like I didn't know what it was. All I knew is that I took the product and it made me feel amazing. You know, people wanted ingredients and I didn't know how to get it to them. So I wrote, you know, the person that signed me up and I'm like, hey, this person wants the ingredients. Like, how do I give it to them? You know, sometimes I would send them pictures of, you know, my, the labels on the boxes. Like I didn't know where to find anything. I didn't know where to get, I was just, you know, I know a lot of people say ignorance on fire. It was just passion. Like it was so much passion. I don't want to say it was ignorance because I wasn't ignorant. I knew what I was passionate about. I was passionate about the product. Like I was so freaking excited. So I hit my VIP 1600 and then my last promoter was my husband. And then I hit his VIP 1600 and then his last promoter was my mom and I hit her VIP 1600. And what I was doing is I was showing my team how to hit these bonuses. I wasn't just telling them, I was showing them because I was doing it. And so they kind of followed my lead. And what I realized is after those bonuses were hit, I was at a park with my kids and I got a paycheck on one Tuesday. I hadn't done anything. And I said, well, I'm not going to get a paycheck because I didn't hit any bonuses this week. I literally didn't do anything. And my paycheck was $300. And I said to myself, I didn't do not one thing this week. And I got a $300 paycheck. And my husband looked at me and he said, well, maybe you should do something. And I thought, well, maybe I should. Like, I couldn't understand how I got paid for not doing one single thing. And I realized it was because my team was working. My team was doing stuff because I had led the way. I had shown them what to do. And so I got super excited about what was happening. And we just kept running. We kept showing them how to hit VIP 800, kept running for 4K, 12K. So in 6 months, our team hit 200K. And I thought that was completely normal. Like we did not think that that was something that was insane. It actually happened on the 25th auto ship. It was not something that like we were mapping out. We were not planning. We were actually, Amber and I were talking about this on our Zoom the other day that we were doing for conference. I was like, it was not a big deal. Like there was no, you know, we didn't celebrate it. It was just kind of like, oh, I hit 200K, you know, it was like, congratulations. I don't even know if, I mean, there probably was a banner because I think I even made a banner for 150K because I was excited. Yeah, it was just kind of like, all right, like, let's do it. But it wasn't really like a huge thing because it was just kind of like, that was what was normal. Like we just did that. Right. The next thing that was exciting was who was going to hit 200K next. Right? What were we pushing for and who was going to be next and who was pushing for that next goal? We just didn't stop. We were just so excited. And I'll tell you, because I said I was going to give it a year, I'm like, well, I'm going to give it a year. I'm going to give it a year and see what a year brings. And I'll tell you, that's what I told the girl that signed me up. And I told her, I said, I'm going to give this a year. And she had wrote me a year to the day. And she said, so you going to quit? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. What I will tell you is a year to the a year when she wrote me that day, I looked back and I could have paid off that house in cash that we were past due on by what Lavelle had provided us that year. And so I looked back and I thought, wow, you know, what a year can do to change everything in our entire family. What it can do just by taking a risk and jumping on the thing that I didn't think that I wanted, on the one thing that I thought there's no way that this is possible. I don't want to do direct sales. I don't want to be the annoying girl on Facebook. I don't want to reach out to my friends. I don't really want to say yes. I was the person that was making fun of my friend and grouping our friends together to do it. And I'll tell you,
you were the bully. You were the bully.
I was the bully. I was 1,000% the bully. And honestly, if she had given up on me, like, and here's the funniest part, guys. 2 people had reached out to me, Lindsay, who's my upline, and there was one other girl that I used to cheer with. One of them had offered me samples, and asked for my email. And I was like, no, thank you. I'm not really interested. And Lindsay went for a full month. She was like, no, you're going to try the full month. Like, you're going to do it the right way. And do you know that I maxed out my credit card? Instead of getting the free sample from somebody, I maxed out my credit card and listened to Lindsay and went the full month and signed up with her. And so I am kind of partial to samples because I really do think that people should commit. And yeah, I didn't have the money. I maxed out a credit card that only had $150 limit like left. And I was past due on all my bills. Like I get that it's a chance, but when people invest something that they don't really have, they're willing to take more, they're going to take more care of what they're doing with the product. They're not just going to say, oh, well, you know what? It didn't work. Like they literally spent everything they had. Right. It's kind of like when, Silas, my son, Silas, when we went to Nashville and he found a penny on the floor and he said that he wanted to give it to one of the Nashville singers. And I'm like, you're not giving that to the Nashville singer. And he was like, why? And I was like, because Silas, that's like an insult. That's the lowest amount of currency you can give to him. He's like, but it's all I have. And I thought, and I said, well, you know what, like if you're looking at it through their eyes, meanwhile, I'm sitting there like throwing a 20 behind my son. I'm like, oh, so sorry. But to my son, that was what he had. That was so valuable to him because it was all he had, right? When somebody spends something that's all they have, they value it so much more. When they're given a sample, they don't value it because they didn't have to give anything for it, right? It wasn't anything that it's not really valued because they're like, it was given to me. It was just, there's nothing to it, right? That's why if you do sample, like really have like a system of sampling, either you're going to be charged for it. I do love Nashville. Maybe I'm coming to you next, Sarah. But Sarah's like, I don't know if yeah, where I'm coming. So I feel like, come on. I do feel like there has to be some kind of system in play when it comes to, samples, because, you know, if you're just giving out samples, there has to be something that goes along with it. Either you're, selling them, or even last night at our local, you know, we were talking about, we have a whole bunch of samples. And one of the things that we were talking about, we're like, we can't just give these out. Like we can give these out to people who order today, right? If you order today, you will take home products so you can start today, right? And it was like the greatest thing ever. We had all these people ordering because they could take home product that day, right? They have all this product in front of them and they're like, oh, I want to take it home. Well, you can't take it home unless you start the product, right? So it was kind of a good incentive, but anyways, so yeah, I mean, it's been 8 years. There's quite a bit to my story, but that's the gist of it.
Well, okay, I'll kind of jump in. So I'll talk on that. Like I started about a year before you, I think is what we had figured out. But it was kind of the same. I want y'all to take this away. Maria started as a customer. Dana started as a customer. I meant to start as a customer, but I created my free account wrong. So I started as a promoter, but I wasn't going to promote and I didn't even know what that meant. And when I did finally place my order, and she's like, oh, well, did you know you have a promoter account? I was like, no, I don't want that. I was like, I don't want anything to do with the business. She's like, well, it's the same either way. So you could just take it, and say you're fine. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what any of that meant. I was sure that I was going to get a fee. Saying like Dana said, like, oh, there's no fees. And I thought, well, okay, maybe that's like the right now special, right? Like when I've been in for a year, I'm going to get a fee. I'm going to like log into my cloud office. Like y'all, I mean, we were making money when a year came, and I 100% trusted this company, but I was so sure that when I logged into my account on my 1-year anniversary, there was going to be like a pop-up that says, please pay your yearly fee, whatever. So it really, that people they don't understand that because everybody charges, so yes, we can say free all day long, but just remember people, they don't trust because they've been burned, and so like,
or even the car, like the car was one of my, that was like one of my things. Like I always thought the car was like going to be like this fake thing, like you were going to get the car and then they're going to be like, just kidding, like good for you. But like, it's, you're not getting that payment, like that was something that I never thought was like actual, like real, or even like, even I was with another direct sales company, and I earned a paycheck, and I'll say it was like $24. And I never actually got paid. Like it was like a gift card, and then I had to go to corporate office, which by the way, corporate office was in my hometown. So I actually went to corporate office, and then they're like, oh, you have to call this number. And I'm like, this is too much work for $24. Like, I'm like, I'm not doing it for a $24 gift card. Never mind. So I was just like, I was so skeptical about it being money. So when when we hit VIP and the actual money went into our account and it was real money, that was like, holy crap, this is real. Like, this is actual real life money that I can pay my bills with. Like, I think at that point it was like, I mean, we were at our local last night. Margie was talking about how that was like real money. That was like a huge thing, and I think that that's when people it's belief money. Like, I think even Q says that all the time too. It's belief money. So I think that that's like a big deal too, is so when people hit that, they're like, wow, like this is legit. This isn't fake, So I think that that's like a big eye opener too in the beginning.
Yeah. And I think with anything, like I know Krista Purdy just said it took her a couple of years to actually go get her Cadillac because she didn't think it was going to keep happening and be real. The only reason I got a Mercedes, the only reason I got a Mercedes the second month that I earned the auto bonus is because my Tahoe was breaking. I'm like, I have to go get a car anyway. So I might as well utilize this auto bonus, and Lord, I hope I keep earning it.
So I had a Dodge Durango, and my Dodge Durango would shut off when I turned left. Like literally the car would literally shut off and my power steering would just stop and I would just be stuck in the middle of the road. Anyways, so, I mean, there's definitely something wrong with the car. Long story short, I was paying $500 a month for that car. And my, I was like, well, let me go look. I'm going to go try it out. I'm going to go look, like test drive. First of all, I didn't even think that I belonged in like a dealership like that. And so I just remember like walking into the dealership and like, I was like, they're going to kick us out of this place. Like, there is no way they're going to let us test drive anything. And so when they were like, oh yeah, you can, you can drive this one. And it was like, my payments were going to be $600. And I was like, well, it's only $100 more. So I'm definitely like, I'm going to make that difference up, even if I don't hit the auto bonus. But if I do hit it, then I'll pay not only my car, but also the insurance. And so I was like, well, and so that was like my thing. And let me tell you, when I drove off that dealership, I felt like the biggest baddie ever. Like, I was like, oh yeah. Like, I felt like I could have like conquered the freaking world. Like first of all, I was telling Fernando, I was like, and the car was like a year newer. I mean, a year older than my Durango, but I like did not care. I was like, I don't care. Like, I felt so cool. And I had so many people write me after getting that car. It was like, that was what made it real for everyone else that was watching. Like, they were like, oh yeah, the product's cool. That's awesome. But like, you just got a car after saying that you were going to get a car, and you just made that business real for me. Like everybody else called BS.
You can say you're earning an auto bonus, but until they see the auto that you earned, like they have to see the actual car, it does make it real.
Yeah. Well, and that's what, like, I saw Leanne just commented, and it was funny because the first conversation that I ever had with her, I think, well, other than the one that she wanted to take a picture and I saw her in the street and told her I had to go to the bathroom, but IBS for you. But we were at, I think we were on the phone and she had just hit 12K. And I was like, so you're going to go get your car? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, no, that was not a question. And she's like, I mean, I guess. And I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, the bathroom conversation was the second. Okay, cool. Glad we cleared that up. And I said, yeah. And I said, stop posting if you're not going to go get your car. Like, if you're not going to go get your car, stop posting that you're an auto bonus earner, because people are just going to look at you and say, well, you know what? Like, then it's not real. And they're going to start doubting not only the business, but they're going to start doubting the product. Because if you look at somebody and say, hey, listen, like, I'm able to get this car, they're going to go, well, then why haven't you? Why haven't you got it then? If you're saying that you can get it, why have you not gone? It's like the getaways, like, oh, well, I'm able to go to Cabo. And they're going, well, then why aren't you going to Cabo? Like, man, if I can go to Cabo, I'm sure as crap going to Cabo, right? And I'll tell you, like, if you're saying you're going to do something, do it. If you're saying you're able to earn something, earn it. Have enough faith in your business, have enough faith in your future to go forward with your business. And I think that's the scary part, because a lot of us, we doubt our business, we doubt ourselves, but you have to have enough faith in what you've got going on that you know that it's going to continue. And I'll tell you, getting the auto bonus will skyrocket your momentum. It will not stop just because you get the car. You're literally going to go, oh, well, I got the car. And oh gosh, now everybody's like, well, she got the car. All right, see ya. Like, that's not how this goes. Lavelle sets you up with a roadmap to success. They literally know how to make you successful. You just have to trust the process. And you can't sit out on half of it. You can't sit out on, Sarah, listen, I'm coming to you in Nashville. So you cannot sit out. Yeah, Amber's coming too. Preferably in June during CMA Fest. But either way. So Leanne, yes, that's fine. We can go in Buffalo and get your car. As long as there's no snow. Leanne's clearly coming to Nashville as well. Okay, Nashville's a thing. Yeah. Nashville's like one of my favorite places ever. Also, New Orleans. New Orleans is really just because of the food. That's the only reason I like New Orleans.
Well, you can literally eat food up and down the street and dance to music too. And then like Nashville, you can dance to music and walk up and down the street. So it clearly has to do with food and music. Which Nashville has amazing food
Basically,
too, so.
You've literally summed me up in just a few words.
I mean, I'm right there with you. We're like the same person. So, okay, let's go back though. Because we could talk travel all day long, but yeah, let's go back to somebody working to hit 12K, hitting 12K, so wherever they're at in there. I want to hit on, because I know that you said this and I feel like because we've been here for a while and social media has changed and MLM and network marketing and all that is getting even, we see what people are saying or thinking used to be behind closed doors. Now it's all over the place. We see it. So, somebody, well, I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be a spammy pammy, and I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. But I think back and I'm like, but that's what worked. Like, that's how we grew our business. Like we shouted Thrive everywhere and people were like, well, what is it? Oh, it's MLM. No, thanks. Okay, cool. Next. Like we just, you just keep going. And what would you say to somebody that's like, man, I've been trying to hit 12K. But I know what happens is that they're excited in the VIPs, they're excited in 4K. And then somebody talks negative. Somebody says something and they stop. Like how do you help promoters get through that?
Well, I think building a community with your promoters is a huge thing, because people are going to talk negative. I mean, it is what it is. Listen, when I lost weight, I mean, after doing the 75 hard and Weight Watchers and Thrive, like every time that I would do something, it was like, oh, you've lost too much weight. Now you're too skinny. It's like, no matter what you do, people are going to talk negatively. It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, Amber, you know that. I mean, It is what it is. So if people are threatened by what you're doing, they're going to talk negatively because you're outgrowing them. And if you outgrow people, it makes them feel uncomfortable because they're uncomfortable to grow with you. And so I had to learn that along the way. A lot of people are going to clap for you. Like when I first said that I was going to start doing Thrive, or when I first said that I was going to start losing weight, people are like, yeah, go girl. I'm so excited for you. And then when I started doing better than them, it was like the claps started getting a little less and less. And then it started getting into chatter. And then it started getting into like trying to make me feel down on myself. And then it started getting into the point where I was doubting what I was doing. But if I'm surrounding myself with people who are growing and doing the same things that I'm doing, guess what? I'm still pumping myself up and I'm pumping up the people around me. So change your circle. If you're feeling like you're not growing or you feel like you're stuck, change the people you're around. Your circle might look different than it did in the beginning. Your leaders might look different than they do in the beginning. If you're just hitting 12K, I promise you, your leaders are going to be different when you hit 40K. When you're 40K, your leaders are going to be different when you hit 200K. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. My leaders aren't working. Guess what? Sign new leaders. You're constantly going to sign new leaders. I have been a Lavelle millionaire. Amber has been a Lavelle millionaire for years. Guess what? I sign new leaders every day. I have to. That's part of the business. It is what we do. That is what we do. We are in sales. You're like, I don't want to sell anything. Well, you're in the wrong business because this is sales. You're like, I'm just sharing. No, you're selling. You are sharing your experience to sell a product, but never feel bad that you are selling something. You are selling a product to your friends. And don't feel bad about that. There are salespeople everywhere. You just have to be good at selling it. And how do you be good at selling something? By sharing your experience. That's it. You just don't want to be like that tacky salesperson, right? You just don't want to be like that door-to-door person, right? It's just a different way to sell something. It's by sharing it, right? You want to be like that, like your homegirl, right? You're just like, hey girl, like I found something. Kind of like the Stanley Cups, right? Where you're posting the Stanley Cups online. You're like, look at what I got. I love it. And people are like, I want one, right? That's how but they're selling something. They're selling something. That is a marketing tool. That
You're
is
just not getting a part of it.
Yeah, they're just not getting a cut. But some people are.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are. That's just their marketing way. That's their marketing tool. They're just utilizing people to market for them. So just keep that in mind. And it's just the way that you think about that is just important, right? So I don't even remember what the question was.
And
Sorry.
it's fine.
I do that sometimes. I squirrel.
We just bounce around. But like, that's the thing is you think about this too. Not only are you're selling a product, but you're selling yourself, like, and not on the street. Like you're selling yourself in the sense of, like Paul used to say all the time, people buy you before they buy your product. And looking at Dana and myself being hairdressers, like we sold ourselves, they were like, why would you come to us versus this person? Why would you, well, I go to hair shows every year. I do this. I have this, certificate with Redken Educator. I have this, like why would somebody choose me? And then I'm sharing all my before and afters on social media, hoping that people would see how good I did and would come back to me or share their friends or tell their friends to come to me. It's the same with this. You're sharing what it did for you, and you're sharing why they need it and what it's going to do for them. It is consistency, and don't let things like hold you back in the sense of, well, so I'm so tired of, like you saw one post, I'm so tired of, seeing all this network marketing in my feed. Well, then get out my feed, move on. What's that? What's that Ludacris song? But so like, that's the thing though, right? Is like, don't let that person, they have something going on. Like Dana, you made fun of Lindsay, but you had a lot going on. Like, like, let's be real. We were all stuck in a miserable space, like I needed this product desperately because I was physically and mentally done. And when something came in and I saw, like, the thing is, first I saw Maria selling a product. That's what I thought, right? Oh, here she goes again. Oh, whatever. But what happened after that is I kept watching her. I watched what she was posting. I watched every picture. Her eyes got brighter. She looked happy. Like she didn't look tired, and seeing that and seeing all the stories on the Lavelle fan page, like I wanted that. Like that became something that I wanted, not something that I was, going to make fun of or, oh, good for her. That was, oh my gosh, like I see things happening and changing in her. Had she only been posting once in a while, like I wouldn't have noticed that. And I wouldn't have jumped in and said, all right, give me the goods, So, all right, Dana, let's fast forward and let's talk. Okay. You've been a leader for a few years. You have a different story than me because like you've had kids since becoming a leader. You've had more babies. When I started this, my kids were 8 and 11. So now I have basically adults. But but it is a different journey. And so kind of talk and share that portion.
Yeah. So when I first started, Sophia was 2, Silas was 6 months. And now Sophia will be 11, Silas will be 9. And then I had Lena, who will be 4, which I don't even know if you can imagine her as a 4-year-old, but yeah, so she'll be 4. But I had her in 2019, and another Silas. That's awesome because that's not a very common name. But I had Selena in 2019, and I'll tell you, I definitely thought that I was working my business. I thought that I know. I thought that I was working my business. I thought that I was plugged in. I was doing Zooms. I was posting, but I was not as plugged in as I thought, right? I was not going to getaways. I was not going and doing locals anymore. And then of course the pandemic hit. And I lost my passion for the product. I lost my passion for building this team. I lost my passion for leadership. I kind of checked out mentally. I kind of checked out, I guess, physically too. And my team did not, like my numbers, I would say never really fell, but my leaders stopped showing up because so did I. Right. And so, I realized one day that, I did a Zoom and there was nobody really on it. There was nobody showing up for it. I realized that I went to a getaway and I didn't really notice, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't really know who my team was. And I realized like, I didn't know who the leaders were on my team that were running. And it made me feel like super sad and like almost as if the company had moved on without me. Right. And I didn't know how to come back. I didn't know, I actually had told Liz, like, I feel as if Lavelle doesn't need Dana Chuva anymore. I felt as if, Lavelle has kind of turned into a different company and Dana Chuva has kind of is not really remembered as a promoter anymore. And Liz was like, are you crazy? Right. And I remember calling Amber and telling her that, and she's like, who am I talking to? I just kind of lost me. Right. And
you texted me first though, or Instagram message or something. And I totally thought somebody had your phone. I thought you were hacked. I was like, what are you talking about? And then we were on the phone.
Yeah. And so we called and I was like in full blown tears, like completely lost, completely just didn't know. I lost my passion. I didn't know who I was anymore. And so I felt at that moment, like, Dana, you need to figure out your life. You need to figure out how to love you again, why you started Thrive in the first place. And really fall in love with the product again, really fall in love with you when you look in the mirror. And so that's exactly what I did. I focused on me. I focused on taking people along on that journey with me. And so that's exactly what I did. When I did the 75 hard with Weight Watchers, with my Thrive experience, I shared every part of that journey and I took people along with me on that ride, and it literally skyrocketed my business, my personal business again. And it made me excited to show back up in my business. And guess what? My leaders were starting to utilize me again. My leaders wanted to show up to my Zooms. My team was going, hey, Dana, do you mind sharing your story on my, on my page? Do you mind sharing on my Zoom, do you mind doing this? The company was asking if I could speak again. You know, they were asking if I could show up for this and that. My PPA started going up again. So it's gradually, but you have to continue. Leanne said this the other day. Once you start showing up, you have to continue to do it. You can't show up one day and be like, oh, I want to come back to the business. I miss it. You just have to keep coming back, right? You can't do a new diet for a day and then say, oh, you know what? Well, can't do it tomorrow, right? Or, in even 75 hard, people were like, how did you do 75 hard? Well, let's be real. Did I have a gallon of water every single day? No, but if I didn't drink the water, did I stop? No, I went to day 2 because the only person that is, like people are like, oh, well, like I couldn't finish it because I couldn't do 2 workouts a day. I'm like, well, you know what? I moved on to the next day and I continued with the 75 hard because the only person that's going to know is me. Like, I don't care. I don't care if I didn't do 1 workout. I'm still getting results that I was happy with. Like, who's going to know? Freaking Instagram. I don't care. They're going to be like, you didn't do 1 workout, back to day 1. Like, I don't care. That wasn't for them to determine whether or not that I had lost the challenge. Like, there was no grand prize. The prize was me. The prize was me getting my mental health back in check, right? And if I was continuing to show up every day, whether I did 2 workouts a day or whether I did 1 workout and drank almost a gallon of water, then I was still showing up for me every single day. I was doing the best that I could. And some days the best that I could was a half a gallon of water, but I still did it. I still showed up. And I still was staying on my diet and I still was taking pictures every single day. And I'll tell you guys, if you continue to show up for yourself, even if it is the best you can do that day, you're still showing up, but you have to show up. Right? It can't just be, oh, well, I showed up one day and then the next day I'm just, I'm not going to do it today. Right? That's the difference. So that was where my business was at that point. And I'll tell you, my business has taken a complete 360 or 180. I don't know. Some people use that differently.
It's like a rocket ship, whatever. Yeah.
Uphill, downhill, I don't know, whatever. It's however you perceive it.
Yeah.
It's done better.
Business is good. Yeah.
Business is good.
So, and that's the thing is I hope that y'all take away from this, from hearing from Dana and from myself, is that, like, one, you have to commit. Like, what can you commit to? Is that 1 post every day? Is that 3 posts a week? Is that, like, what can you commit to? I truly believe our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a great blanket, like, consistency medium, like, that is something that if you can do 5, 4, 3, 2 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every day. Like, if you can do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every day, this is what day 2 detox looks like right now. If you could do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every day, maybe it's 4, 4, 3, 1, 1, like, whatever. Like, there are going to be days that you're like, crap, I didn't get them all in. Or there's going to be days that you do 10, 40, 30, but then there's going to be days that it's not as much. But commit to doing something every day, like some kind of consistency every single day. Because imagine your business as a business, right? Like, if you had a boutique or a restaurant, you have to show up every day. Like, the doors have to open every single day. You can't turn your open sign on and not be open. I mean, I've seen restaurants do that, like small cafes where all of a sudden on Tuesday, nobody was there to open the doors. And then you're like, well, I don't know if that place is open today or not. And, like, your Thrive business cannot be that way. You have to be consistent. Dana, let's say when you restarted, right? When you restarted your business and your passion, what did that look like? Because I know people are like, well, I haven't posted for a while, so I got back to posting and nobody responded. So I don't know if this is for me. Like, what are some things for people like that?
So like I said, I was doing a lot of, like, focusing on me. So I would do a lot of, like, walks. That was like hey, I'm going to do my 75 hard. Anybody who wants to join me, or, walking today. And I would post a picture and, of course, have my DFT showing. or man, it's hot out here today, you know, like, so glad I got my steps in, or, you know, just like typical posts that I would normally post, but I was just showing people that I was showing up every day. And it was for me. And of course I always, and this is something that is really big, I always did my before and afters. And if I didn't have a before and after, like it was just my before, I would post my before. And you're like, well, my before isn't that great right now. Well, that's okay. It doesn't have to be great. It can just be your before, and say, you know what, life got busy. We just went through, you know, we just went through a pandemic at the time. Or guess what? We just went through life with my family and kids, or the holidays, or, you know, whatever. And you know what? I want to get back on track. Who's going to join me? You know, let's hold each other accountable. That was how I showed up. And I just let people show up with me. I kind of gave them the reason to show up.
That's awesome. And like, I want to preface that your before and after, guys, you may not have some massive before and after. It doesn't have to be this physical appearance, but like I've made posts before where I'll like your memories, your Facebook memories is a great place to grab old you pictures. And I will like pull a picture. I'll go, oh my gosh, like what you don't see in the before picture is after taking the kids to Six Flags, I was home. I was in pain. I was this, I was that. I was crying in my closet because I still didn't feel like a good enough mom. You know, like your before and after doesn't have to be some physical transformation. Cause I know some people look Dana and like, hey, Dana, you have this amazing transformation. Like, I don't have that. But what do you have? What is your before and after? Is it, what you don't see here, I had to check my bank account before I went to the grocery store. What you don't see in today's picture, I didn't have to check my bank account today, and I didn't have to say no to the name brand granola bars. You know, what is, because that was huge. That was something that was really big for me.
Yeah.
I cried when I was at Target, not, you know, like I could actually go to Target, and the kids wanted certain name brand things and I didn't have to buy it because they're like, Mom, that kind is gross. And, you know, like, but that's all we could afford before. And I'm like, whatever, it's the same, just eat it.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but like even, like my before and after yesterday, which was it was actually kind of cool. I had somebody that shared with me that I was at a local, and I looked at the date and it was the exact date. And I was actually in Atlanta, and it was 7 years ago. And I thought, I was like, wow, isn't that crazy? Like 7 years ago to the day, I was in the exact same place doing the exact same thing. And so even though like, yeah, it looks like, oops. I will say that I look totally different in the picture after I posted it. But just something like that, like I'm still showing up. I'm still doing the exact same thing that I was doing 7 years ago. And I'm still traveling to my teams. And it just happens to be the exact same day at the exact same place 7 years ago. But it's just a cool way to kind of like show that you're showing up, and you're showing up for your teams, and you're there and you're doing stuff. So use your Facebook memories to kind of like show your teams or show your friends or whatever that you're still plugged into this business and you're still plugged in. It doesn't even just have to be before and afters of your, you know, transformation. It can be, you know, about the business as well, or about your family, you know, still showing up for my family's soccer games. I still showing up for my kids to go to Six Flags, still showing up for my husband, you know, when he needs me to help him cut the grass, like whatever, you know. But just use your Facebook memories to kind of help tell your story.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, because remember that, because I know a lot of people ask, well, I need graphics to share. And you know, that's the funniest thing. I think when people come in, they're like, well, where do I find graphics to share? I'm like, share your story. Like,
yeah, don't share
story. Share your story, share your DFT, you know, share your story, share other people's stories. Like stories are what people relate to, right? And that is the number one key, is you want to relate to people. Your story of what has happened, what has changed, is going to tell them why they need this, what it's going to do for them. Everybody wants to know, what's it going to do for me? And so that's the thing, you keep sharing the stories, sharing in pictures and whatever, and in your actual stories and Instagram, Facebook stories. I will say, so it's kind of funny. Like I think back, everybody thinks, Dana, that we've just always been so good at what we do.
I hear Margie laughing in the bathroom. Yeah, no. Yeah, she says you were born a 200K. Yeah, no, I honestly still learn to this day, and I learn most of the things from a lot of my leaders. And I feel like this business changes every single day. I feel like the way that we grow, a lot of things stay the same. But a lot of things are developed through, learning different styles of leadership. One thing that I did learn, I think, through sports is, you take things from different coaches, or you take things from different leaders, and you kind of develop into your own leader, right? And you kind of develop into your own style of leadership, your own style of training and whatever. But you constantly have to be leading. You constantly have to be learning. The best leaders are leaders that can build other leaders. Never think that a leader is someone who creates followers. That is never going to be a leader. A leader is somebody who creates more leaders. And it's funny because I feel like we were just talking about this, Margie and I, yesterday, but it's important to know that the best team that you're ever going to create, the best success that you're ever going to have, is when you create more leaders. When you create more people that will be successful in your business, that is when you will find success. However, you won't be able to do that unless you continue to learn. So you also have to be a great student. So no, I have not been good at this. I'm still not that great at it. I don't know anything about direct sales. I don't know anything about our product, to be completely honest. I don't know the comp plan. When I hit 200K, I actually asked Maria, do I need to learn it? And she said, well, you got pretty far without learning it. And so I've never actually dug in and learned it, which sounds really terrible, but it's true. If somebody wants to know the comp plan, I send them a video that somebody else did, because some people do want to know that stuff. But I don't know it. I don't think that the comp plan is necessarily important. Like I said, I feel like if the more people that I share it with, and the more people that succeed, the bigger my paychecks seem to get. So that's kind of what I've learned about that. I've never been unsuccessful with that theory. I've never hurt myself with that theory. So I kind of stick with it. I don't know, but no, I have not always been good at this.
Well, and I think too, the thing to remember, you don't have to know the comp plan. I am just one of those that is very nosy and very curious and wants to know the why and the details. So I dug in when I started making money. I dug into my pay report, right? Like I was like, why am I making this money? Why did I just get a check? Like, what am I getting paid on? And so for me, like that just came natural. But I don't explain the comp plan because it's a lot. It goes over people's heads, and people say, I want to know the breakdown of the comp plan. What they really want to know is, again, what's in it for them. So it's very much the refer to, get your product for free, come in with fast start bonuses. Now we have VIP 400, 800. It's free to join, VIP 1600, 4K,
right.
What Maui gyms. I still struggle with not saying iPad. 4K Maui gyms, 12K auto bonus with multiple options now, including trucks, Broncos, and Jeeps, right? So you definitely want to just have that down in a smidgen, like that's it. Like you don't need all these details, because then people are like, wait, when do you hit the auto bonus? Wait, how everybody gets it for free? Like they start asking those questions. So it's not like a specific comprehension. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Dana, if you have anything left to say, what would you say right now, being it's March, we're coming on Thrivepalooza. PS, if you haven't bought your Thrivepalooza tickets, you better hurry up. It's March, we're coming up on Thrivepalooza. End of the month is just around the corner. Bonus season is happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally March is like one of my favorite months. But one, get your butt to Palooza. I know it might not seem important, especially if you're new. But it is very important to get there. 2, if you're 12K, go get your freaking car. 3, I will absolutely 110% say, do not count yourself. Don't count yourself out. If you're looking at your back office and you think you're far from a goal, I've seen some insane things happen, insane things. So don't count yourself out, because the second that you count yourself out, your team is counting themselves out too. If you look at your team and see how far they are from their goal, push them to their goals, and I guarantee you'll be a whole lot closer to yours. So that is all I'm going to say. And I hope that you guys took something away from this, and hopefully I'll see you guys at Palooza.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, do not count yourself out. Take anything away, take that away. Do not count yourself out. The more people you help, the more successful you'll be in life. That's a Zig Ziglar quote right there. You can get more out of life, the more people that you help. And then also don't forget, it's about to be payday. So, make your payday posts, where are you at and what's your email coming in? Thanks guys. Same time next Tuesday. Thanks, Dana.